Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Science and Spirituality. Today we are going to discuss two terms, gods and aliens. There are no physical evidences for both terms, but yet people all over the world believe in both terms equally. So today we will try to find out the relation between these two terms of science and spirituality. But before going to start, let's give a minute to our spiritual term, which is God. We people all over the world believe in existence of God according to different rituals, beliefs, myths and ancient documents or stories. People worship these gods according to their own beliefs. But if we talk about only a single word, God, then how can we define this single word, God? The simplest definition for word God is that God is Almighty, who has created this world and universe. There was and only God before existence of anything or before existence of matter and time. God is not made of flesh and bones, He is Almighty. And this is the simplest definition we can use if we have to explain God in our words. Now, let's talk about some famous spiritual beliefs or stories from all over the world, which are believed to existed somewhere and sometime on this earth. And people are still worshipping them till these days. And today we are going to compare some factors from those stories with our actual definition of God to find out relation between aliens and gods. So now, one question which strikes on our minds is why these gods always are strange-looking persons. And why every god has their own particular weapon with particular powers. If we travel Earth from one country to another country, giving a deep look at every religion and stories of gods, then we will find some very strange factors about those ancient or mythological beliefs. Like if we give a deep look at most famous gods, Jesus, Hercules, Thor, Egyptian gods, Chinese gods, Roman gods and Hindu gods. There are many similarities or strange factors we are going to discuss. Like they all were born with different process, which are always different from human birth-giving processes. Like our spiritual books and beliefs, Jesus was born to a virgin mother. Similarly, there are Chinese, Egyptian and many Indian stories of their gods, and none of those were born with normal birth-giving processes. Here I will explain my point with some Indian culture stories of gods. To explain my point, I will took examples from Indian religious textbook, Mahabharata. I personally recommend every scientist, ufologist, researchers and every person to read Mahabharata at least once in life. Mahabharata is an epic battle story between two families. And in Mahabharata one can get his answers to many unsolved mysteries. Mahabharata was written way before our other religions. And it explains ancient technologies, powerful weapons of gods and many other events like nuclear attacks, all in single textbook. So Mahabharata is best example to explain my points. If you are familiar with Mahabharata, then there was a battle between Pandavas and Kauravas. Here is my point, that there is not a single character in this epic spiritual story which was born normally like we humans do. Pandavas were born directly by different gods and with their powers. And Kauravas were born with a single piece of flesh. Other characters like Ghatotkacha, Eklavya, Dronacharya, Bhimsen, Ganga, Rishi Vedvyas and all other kings and main characters of Mahabharata were not born normally. They all were born with magical powers and they all have strange abilities by their birth. Some characters have huge bodies, very powerful bodies more than 10 feet tall. And many other were born with their particular weapons. Even some of them have different appearances and colors very abnormal to our human beings. Now I am going to my second point, why most of the gods have their particular weapons with particular powers. Like Hercules has its own weapon. Thor, god of thunder, has its own weapon. Likewise in Indian culture, gods have their own particular weapons. Krishna has Sudarshan Chakra, Hanumana has Gada, Shiva has Trishula, Indra has Vajra, Brahma has Brahmastra, Varuna god of water has Varunastra, and other gods have their particular weapons, like Nagpasha, Garudastra, Pasa. Anushka and many other weapons equipped by their gods with different powers and destruction abilities. Here purpose of explaining all these factors is just to compare these factors with the definition of God which we have discussed earlier. We believe God is mystical, beyond this universe, supreme power, creator of universe, almighty which could never die and beyond time limits. Now, if God is divine power, then why all these characters need weapons, why all these have physical bodies, why all of these born and die, and why all of these have particular powers in particular categories, like Kamdeva has power of kama, erotic feelings. God of thunder has power to control weather conditions on earth. Kubera has power of wealth. And likewise all others also have particular powers of different categories. In the other hand, in today's era people believes in extraterrestrial livings which is normally explained as gray aliens. Aliens are believed to be other entity people or people from other planets. They could be different in physical appearance from human beings. They could have special powers, weapons and technologies. It is possible that some of aliens on other planets may have body structures more than 10 or 20 feet tall or more, with extreme powers like two characters of Indian religions Bhima and Kumkarna. Both characters have very powerful and large bodies. They eat a lot of food comparing to normal human beings. Aliens could travel from one place to another place by wormholes and they could use anti-gravity technologies in their spacecrafts. Similarly in Mahabharata there are some vehicles called Ratha or chariots which could fly in air. There could be some other aliens which are aggressive in their nature and they don't like humans, they want to eat humans. And if we give a look in our religious books then mostly gods are described as killing of those Rakshasa or devil entities, and saving human beings from them. If we compare our Earth's system with universe, like we have ministry of every departments in our country, we have different ministry to control financial statements, and for health departments, food or agriculture departments etc. If we humans can have this system then it could also possible for intergalactically. There could be different rulers, intergalactic forces, ministers for a particular galaxy or a solar system to control it in good ways. Like we believe Thor is a god of thunder. It is right to say that there could be a ministry of galaxy and there are different ministers or officers of every departments. Like different officers to manage wealth departments, different gods or officers to control erotical feelings in living lives. Different officers to control water system, different officers for air control, different for technologies and for many other departments to control intergalactic systems.